son.
This is the Neil Rogers Show. This is your brain. Any questions?
Oh, yeah. Every Halloween, the story's the same. There are kids at the door all driving me insane. Dressed like characters I see on TV. I'm handing out candy like it was free. Everybody's come to trick or treat. To keep on knocking, I can't get no peace. I'm on the streets, what will they do to me? All the kids are here to trick or treat. Power Rangers just kicked in my door. Batman threw up on my living room floor. Winnie the Pooh soaked up my brand new car. This Halloween things have gone too far. All the kids are here to trick or treat. Run out of candy and I'll be dead meat. Ain't gonna let 'em make a fool out of me. Gonna scare 'em with a flashlight and a big white sheet. All the kids are here to trick or treat. Oh yeah.
So evidently the devil must have like he's a chocoholic or something like that, and all these kids go around every year on Halloween, and what they do is they gather all this candy and they take it to the altar of the devil, and he just sucks it all up because it's a satanic ritual, right?
It's a pagan ritual, you heathen.
I told you he used to play shortstop for the Pirates, Jose. But anyway, it's 10:07 at WIOD. Happy Halloweeny, and it's just a fun thing for the kids. Don't be putting any poison in a these people out there, I'm serious, that should be immediately be shot. And, of course, only in America. I bet you that doesn't happen anywhere else in the world, where in the last several years now, there are a lot of parents, if they're smart, they keep their kids home, or they definitely go with them, and, they, watch everything, including the apples. Don't take any apples, because that's the favorite for sticking pins and needles and all kinds of crap in the middle of apples. Don't you just love people who do crap like that? So anyway, God, there is so much damn crap going on. Of course, I know it won't get any calls, but that's beside the point. We got the game tonight. We got the Panthers and the Islanders. Jody Hull's got a broken rib. He'll be out for about 2 weeks. That's bad news. Fitzpatrick's going to be starting in goal tonight. We got 4,500 seats unsold. Ticketmaster is open right now for the Panther Pack. They got like 1,800 of those $9 seats. So you better get with the program, okay? I don't want to go there tonight and see 4,000 empty seats. There is no excuse. We got the hottest team in the game. They're 7-3. They got 14 points. They're right up there just under the Flyers and near the top of the goddamn conference, near the top of the league. And the least this town can do is support something. I even heard what do they call him? The dead mouse, whatever he is, Joe Rose this morning. I heard him for like a minute. I punched over there, and he's talking about what a deadhead town this is that doesn't support anything. Who else has been saying that for years, Joe? But for crying out loud, we got something good. It looks really good on this arena thing. They're talking serious. I mean, they got a time problem. They got to really hurry this thing along, but at least the taxpayers aren't going to have to pay for it. They're going to have the bed tax, and it looks like we might get something done finally. Finally. Wouldn't that be a miracle? So let's get your ass out there to the arena tonight. Islanders, we're going to kick their ass right into oblivion and see a little bit of motivation. I don't know. Is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? My confidence is not high, not in this town. Anyway, we got the Center One thing going, and I was talking to Adam just a moment ago. Evidently, there was a major contretemps that took place in the station yesterday, which I knew nothing about, but evidently Phil Henry, who is generally...
But generally
Mr. Low-key and Mr. Very calm, cool, and collected, and not I told you, just sit back and wait, and sooner or later, Phil Henry's going to catch on to this place, and he's going to understand what's going on. And evidently yesterday, he just lost it. But I don't want to get into that yet. So the Center One campaign starts tomorrow. You might want to write down his phone number. We don't have an 800 number this year, and I'm pretty pissed off about that, because the 800 number suppliers, for whatever reason, well, who knows. But we do have a number at Center One. They'll take your phone orders for the T-shirts and the cassettes and the CDs, just like every year. The best of stuff, which is this year the best ever. I guarantee, I promise that. It's super. Especially the one with that the new Unplugged Volume 2 with my stunt ass on the cover. It's a beautiful thing. And they'll be taking phone orders starting tomorrow at 954. Now, can somebody straighten me out on that thing? Because I know that that's the new area code in Broward, but If you still call 305, it still rings, right?
I'll try it right now.
Huh? You try what? What are you going to call? This number?
No, home.
Oh, yeah, call home and see what the deal is. Anyway, 954 area code 561-0078. 561-0078, center one. That's going to be the number for your phone orders. And then, of course, we're going to have all this stuff at the border stores all over town, including Coral Springs on North University Drive, Aventura, Kendall, and Fort Lauderdale and Boca stores opening like in the middle of November, which will be great, too. Our first appearance out with all the good stuff will be this Sunday from 1 to 3 at the Fashion Mall in Plantation. That's the Macy's Mall on University Drive. And the good thing we're doing this year is everybody is going to be there at each one of these appearances. Instead of having me in one place and Phil in another and Rick and Sud someplace else, all four of us will be, like, at the thing. It does what?
What's the other area code? 945?
You can try 945. This
that
one
does
is
not work.
954.
Oh,
about
954?
So
305
okay,
works.
so we just learned something. 945 doesn't work, okay? 954 is the new area code. Why the hell do they have to do that? Then we got the Canadian election last night, which when you got a satellite dish and you can watch that. What is it? That doesn't work either?
305 works.
So why are we putting that on there if it doesn't even work? Okay, I'm crossing that out, okay? I'm crossing that out. 561-0078. Forget about the goddamn area code because, as usual, I don't want to say there's going to be any screw-ups in this because I know that Sarah's got a firm hand on it. Trust me, I saw it. We got that Canadian thing going on. Then we got an editorial in the Sun Sentinel today which really frosted my ass. You know, you newspaper people... You damn newspaper people who nobody's regulating them, okay? So they're hotshots. They're very big to talk about freedom of speech and about the restraint of the broadcast media. But when it comes to themselves and all the crap that they put in there and spreading their editorial opinions on the front pages all the time, then it's a different story. But all of a sudden today they come up with this very self-righteous, as usual, editorial. The lead editorial in the Sun Sentinel, if I can ever find a goddamn thing here, talk shows can clean up their acts or risk getting clipped by outsiders. This is about the latest flack that's going on about the TV talking head shows, which I referred to yesterday. And as repugnant as those shows are to me, most of them, in fact, there's one on, what channel 4 right now? Another one of these stupid things. And it's always the same. Look at this. We got a bunch of very middle-class, well-dressed black people on there.
Rhonda.
Oh, this is Rhonda. And most of the audience are black. Or it's either that or we have a half a dozen trailer park trash people on there screaming at each other. But you know something? There are millions of people watching this crap. I say if you don't like it, turn it off. It'll go off the air. It'll go away. That's called a free marketplace. And all of a sudden, people like Jerry Springer talk about a spineless piece of crap. Oh, yeah, well, you're right. You got a point, and I don't want to do any more of this. Yeah, right. What a bunch of crap that is, okay? That's what the media, that's what we're all about. We're a bunch of whores. We're here to whore whatever we can from the marketplace. And whatever sells, that's what it's all about, period. And this editorial, which I might even take time to read, it pisses me off so much. You people at the Sun Sentinel are the biggest bunch of phonies I've ever encountered in my life. And, man, is it appropriate that you're here.
I think if most women could choose to reach orgasm every time they have intercourse, I think a lot of women would say we would forfeit the multiple orgasms just in order to have an orgasm every time we have intercourse.
Passion Phones, 8 p.m. till midnight on News, Talk, and Entertainment Radio, 610 WIOD.
Oh, Canada, you think that you're in luck. You stole our all-star game. 'Cause your own sports really suck. You've got dog sled runs. You shoot moose with guns. What a way to entertain. And you fish for ice. You think hockey's nice. 'Cause it's played without a brain.
Oh!
Ooh, Canada. Oh, nausea. Give me my all-star game, I want it back now. 'Cause baseball in Canada makes me a blow chow.
You son of a bitch.
Okay, 10:17 at WID. So I'm watching last night on the CBC, eh? I will say one interesting thing about the way they do it, although it's very boring and they don't do any exit polling up there. None of that. And since they basically have the CBC, they got CTV and a couple of other minor networks, but CBC, the government network, they basically are all over the goddamn country, and if you want to see what's going on, you'll watch that or else. But when they started counting the votes, like at about 10 after 8, the polls closed officially at 8. But when they started counting the votes in Quebec, they have a thing on a screen, and it shows you like tenths of a point, and they just keep it on there. And they keep, of course, talking and BSing and doing all this stuff and wailing and carrying on. But it was the most astonishing thing I've ever seen. In between watching 2 hockey games, I kept flipping back on there, and it was never more than a half a point. In fact, the separatists were ahead for like most of the first hour and a half, but it was never more than a half a point. And there were times when it would swing back and it would be like 50-50. It would be like just a handful of votes apart. It's amazing. And the bottom line of all of this, there's a great lesson to be learned in this, in case we haven't already learned it, from your experience with the frogs down here, okay? And that is that this separatist bullcrap has got to go. And the fact that this almost passed in Quebec last night proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that we're so desperate in South Florida, the only thing that we can attract anymore in terms of tourism in any gigantic numbers are the frogs. What a sad commentary on the way the leaders in this community have taken the surf and the sand and the sun and turned it into desperation. It's amazing that all we can attract are the most obnoxious, and I say this with no reservations whatsoever. They are the most disgusting, the most despicable, the most arrogant people on the face of the earth. There might be a few good ones. I haven't met them yet. You show me a frog, and I'll show you a real asshole. He's picking on an entire group of people now. That's right. And as far as the people in France, I'll let you know in a few weeks, okay? Because I guess I'm going to have to make that stop in Paris and ride the subway, play a little Russian roulette. But I'm telling you, man, I have never seen. I was watching all those people and all the yes people there, young and old alike. See, one thing about in Germany, at least my experience in Berlin, the older Germans, they're exactly what you'd expect. They're just like the Nazis. They're still living in the past. They're still trying to win World War II. But the younger and middle-aged people there, they're great. They love to have a good time. They're out there in the streets. Everything is great. It's the old people. So even the Germans are starting to break away, except for a few of the skinheads. There's always a few in every group, but they're starting to break away from that mold. But the goddamn frogs, I don't have any idea what it is with French people, but these people have got a serious problem. Because they speak a different language, they're in a country of 15 or 20 million people, and because 5 million of them live in Quebec and 80% of them speak French, parlez-vous douchebag, therefore we want to be a separate country. What sense does that make? Well, we're very proud of our heritage. What are you proud of? What the hell are you proud of? That you just blew off, the French just blew off a few more atomic weapons in the South Pacific? Is that something to be proud of? Or the fact that the Americans had to go in and bail your ass out twice in the goddamn world wars? What is it that they're proud of?
They keep sinking a lot of Greenpeace boats.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're proud of that. They're proud of the fact that every time there's a goddamn terrorist in the world who's got nowhere else to go, he can always go to France because they've never met a terrorist they don't like. What have they got to be proud of? They're disgusting. Even their language, it's so guttural, it sounds like they haven't had a good BM. I bet you even the British have had a good BM sooner, more recently, than the goddamn French. And this business of, well, you can't have a sign in English because we're going to throw your ass in jail and we're going to fine you. We've seen so much of that right here in Dade County. And the one thing, Newt Gingrich is one of the most frightening people I've ever seen. But there's one thing that he's right about, and that's this bilingualism crap. Of course, we know where he's coming from on it. And it's interesting that a lot of the people who support him, especially in Dade County, like probably 98% of our no-speaking English people in Dade love Newt Gingrich because of what they think he stands for. In the meantime, he hates them like poison. But if you're going to be a part of the program, baby, speak the goddamn language. Period. And that's one of the things they should have done years ago in Canada was said, they should have said English is the language, and if you want to, be a part of the country, do your best to learn it because that's the way it is. And don't start passing any goddamn provincial laws because it's a bunch of bullcrap. It would be like every group of people that we have in America who speak some foreign language. Well, we're going to start our own country because we don't like the way you're treating us. We're proud of our past. What is that all about? Here's a bunch of 19 and 20-year-old kids out there running around and screaming and having a good time, which basically a lot of them were laughing and yucking it up last night. And they're proud of their past and their heritage, which means what? They're goddamn Canadians. Their currency ain't worth a crap. And partly because of their crappy attitude. So let me say it right here and now. I think, especially since tomorrow's the 1st of November, it's getting close to the season if it ever arrives in this godforsaken place. We ought to put up gigantic billboards. Frogs, go home, okay? Parlez-vous, get lost. Give them all a goddamn road map with a one-way arrow pointing north on I-95. Go back where you came from. We don't want you here. We don't care how desperate we are. You know, that would force the hand of the Chamber of Commerce people and the other assholes in this town to start doing something to attract living and breathing tourists back in this area, besides the goddamn frogs. Because the behavior that you see here, the cheapness, the driving, the obnoxious attitudes, these are no different than what goes on up there, I'm sure. These are frogs. A frog is a frog. A Pepsi is a Pepsi. A Quebecer is a Quebecer, man. Arrogant, obnoxious, disgusting, and rude. And God, do I hope we hear from some of them today. We won't. We never hear from them on this show. Almost never. And don't tell me they don't listen, because they were, remember a couple of years ago, they had the cameras down here. They wanted to get me off the air. Everybody wants everybody else off the air if you don't agree. And then the Sun Sentinel will have a lead editorial saying, you got a good point. Let's get them off the air. I say we ban the Sun Sentinel. How do you like that?
Been to the bookstore lately? Can you believe Borders, Books, and Music? Can you imagine Neil Rogers Unplugged? The best of Phil Hendry. The best of Rick and Suds. For sale at Borders, Books, and Music. 1995's best of WIOD CDs and cassettes. Benefiting Center One. On sale at Borders, Books, and Music Wednesday. From News, Talk, and Entertainment Radio. 610 WIOD.
Okay, 1026 at WIOD. By the way, also I have a copy of the article about chromium picolinate by Jane Brody. What is this from, though? Dartmouth College and George Washington Medical Center are where their research is ongoing about chromium picolinate. But it says a dietary supplement popular among fitness buffs and people trying to lose weight has been shown in tests done on cells grown in the laboratory to cause severe damage to chromosomes. Although no animal studies of the supplement's cancer-causing potential have yet been done, the genetic changes observed in the laboratory suggest that this widely sold supplement could be carcinogenic, in other words, cause cancer. So if you're one of those people on the Atkins who's jumped on the bandwagon of this thing, you want to think about that. I'm not taking it anymore, and I'm not ever going to take it. And my doctor has never taken it from the beginning, and he still lost over 30 pounds and looks great on the Atkins. So obviously you don't need it, and I think it's just a big hype job. Okay, let's do Cooper City. Hello?
Hello, Neil?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got some great news.
Yes?
In this month's Playboy, they go after the Christian Coalition, Newt Gingrich, and Creation Science. Did you hear about this?
No.
Oh, they're talking about how these people believe in talking snakes. You know, they want to teach that to school, that, Eve talked to snakes.
Yeah.
They want to teach that lions didn't eat meat in the Garden of Eden, and that 400-year-old
Well,
men...
she did wrestle with one snake, I'm sure of that. That's what Adam told me.
Yeah, and they wanted 400-year-old men are fathering children. They asked Newt Gingrich about this, and he goes, I don't want to answer, because either way I answer, I'm going to look bad.
Yeah, that's a good political answer.
Yeah.
From a snake in the grass.
But it's about time they're finally going after what's in the Bible, though. I mean, these people can't...
Well, wait a minute. You say they're finally going. This was in Playboy?
Playboy this month.
So, but why does that come as a shock to you? Playboy and Penthouse have been writing stuff like that for years. Because it's only degenerates like you and I who read stuff like that.
Yeah, but if you would watch a crossfire on Creation Science, they would never mention Adam and Eve and all that stupidity that's in there.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd tell you. Oh, one more thing.
If they brought Pat Buchanan back, I'll guarantee you he would.
Oh, one more thing.
He'd probably say something about Adam and Steve, too, yeah?
Did you hear the Rick and Suds at the end, where those guys were talking about what happened on your Family Channel last night?
No.
On Channel 4? At Star Trek.
Oh, about some lesbian thing?
I can't believe it. On Star Trek, at 7 o'clock, they got girls doing each other. On the Family Loving Channel, whatever they call that. Right after the news.
They had a lesbian scene in Star Trek?
And Star Trek.
Yeah.
At 7:30 on Channel 4.
Yeah, but were they doing it in a family-sensitive way?
I guess so, man. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't think they can do that.
No, I understand. If you use your pocket rocket, that's family-sensitive. Okay, pal.
All right, bye.
Have a great life. Bye. Open line at date 751-9463, 751-WIOD. We have one in Broward, 524-WIOD, and two on the green lines in Boca, Palm Beach, etc. 1-800-944-9463. So we just got a whole potpourri of crap going on. Of course, whether we get any response or not, that's problematical. By the way, don't forget that 1-900-ALL-NEIL number, which I was out sick almost all last week, so I'll only give you a shot about it on Monday. But for those who can't either get enough of the show by listening to it for free, or those who are masochists, or those who want to leave a caustic message, or those who just, and I think the good idea, though, is to have everybody call their friends in Tampa and everybody they know all over the country and say, gee, you got to hear Neil Rogers. And if you don't want to call in on the show, just dial 1-900-ALL-NEIL, ALLNEIL. And it's, what is it, $1.49 the first minute, 99 cents a minute after that. And have them listen for like 4 or 5 hours. What are you laughing about? The longer you listen, the more money we make. What's wrong with that? See, I'm not going to give you one of these 900 numbers where we lie about it and say we're going to educate you and stimulate you. It's another scam to make some money. What's wrong with that? 1-900-ALL-NEIL. I think everybody should be forced to call, even the frogs, so they can hear the terrible things I'm saying about them. Here's a call from FIU. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay.
Listen, I wanted to speak about the thing that's starting today, the pig patrol. You know, it's amazing.
Oh, the increased pork, yeah.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing that these guys sit around in the legislatures all year long bitching about how they need more money and more money and more money. And when they finally get more money, they buy all this expensive equipment so that they could put all these staff guys under bridges with radar guns.
Right.
You know, it's
so they can write more business and then they can get the money from us to pay for it.
And yet, when you call because your car got stolen in this crime-ridden city that everyone's murdering each other and the cops are even killing people, you know, all you get is like, well, we'll send someone over. An hour later, they send some guy over who doesn't bother looking to find out clues about who stole your car, dust the area for fingerprints, you know, get witnesses and this and that. No, they fill out a report here, give this to your insurance company so they can pay you money, and 6 months later they're going to raise your rates because a million other people did that anyway, you know? I couldn't believe it, you know?
That's law enforcement in America, man.
You know,
OJ is walking around on a loose. He's having a time of his life. He's out there playing golf, smiling and laughing and signing all kinds of contracts. And in the meantime, we got the speed police are out there on the goddamn highway again, all over the goddamn place.
How much do you think these expensive planes cost and helicopters and everything? Sorry, I got noise, but I want everyone to bitch, please.
That's probably one of them.
Right.
Okay, pal.
Bye, Neil.
Slow down. How do you like that?
You son of a bitch.
Open line and date. But, hey, I've been talking about that for 20 years, and nobody cares about it. Or if they do care about it, they're not going to raise enough of us think about it to change anything. That's the problem. What do the people care about? They care about OJ. They care about watching all those talking TV head shows. I'm going to say it again. I don't watch those shows. They're nauseating. They're disgusting. But you know something? There are 8 billion other channels out there. So go get yourself a satellite dish. Go rent yourself a movie. You know, go buy 3 VCRs. Do something. Nobody is forcing anybody to watch those shows. And you assholes at the Sun Sentinel, all the other goody two-shoes. See, this is part of this whole censoring mood of the 90s in America now. It used to be just the people on the far right and a few people on the far left. These were the people who were into censorship. Today, it's the politicians. It's everybody. If you don't like it, then get it off the air. How about if we don't like what you write in the newspaper, huh? How about if we don't like your editorial opinions? How about if we don't like the way you slant the news? What do we do then? Oh, don't buy the paper. Well, guess what? Then don't watch those shows. That's all. Don't watch the goddamn shows. Don't watch Charles Perez and Oprah and Jerry Springer and Lisa and every one of these 8 million other, Ricky Lake. You know, we got about 15 of these people now that are so popular that they have to hold up a card with their name on it like Ricky Lake. Anybody that's on television that has to hold up a card with their name on it, that tells me right off the bat they're a loser. I mean, what is that all about? And that Ricky Lake, that fat bitch, she's still holding up the card, and supposedly her show is like one of the most popular. She's still holding up the card. Oh, yeah, very big with the trailer park trash, with all those American housewives that are out there, all those sluts. Here's a lady in the Gables. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Well, great.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Me too.
Good. Listen, I wanted to just make a quick comment about the frogs down here in Florida.
Yes.
I just want to let all of them know that's it. That number one, we don't want them here, and number two, we have enough drug money in Miami to support anything that needs to be done.
Oh!
That's it. They should just get back in their frogmobiles or Winnebagos or whatever and get the heck out of Florida.
All right.
Okay, thanks, Neil.
Thanks, sweetheart.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Okay, by the way, we'll get her number for you. Anybody needs any good stuff? We have an open line on the purple line. That's AT&T Wireless Pound IOD. The 2 green lines have yet to show any interest, of course, because they don't even know there was an election in Quebec last night. It's on the front page of your paper, by the way, this morning. I just thought I would mention that. Close call. Canada stays united. They came within 50,000 votes or less, whatever the hell it turned out, of seceding from the country. The separatists, the frogs who want to start their own country because they got their own language and their own culture. So in the U.S. we'll have, let's see, and of course in the U.S. it can't just be Hispanics because you got, like the Mexicans are thinking one thing and the Cubans are definitely thinking something different and the Puerto Ricans are thinking and the Colombians, they're thinking drugs and everybody's thinking something different. So they can't have their own country. We might take like a few states that are like adjacent to each other, like Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana, maybe in Arkansas, and give those to the Hispanics. Then we got the people that speak all the Asian, I almost said Oriental, all those Asian people again. We got the Vietnamese, and we got the Koreans, and we got the Japs and the Chinese, and we'll have to get them like California, Washington, and Oregon, because basically they are, and Hawaii, naturally, because they've taken most of those over already. And we'll make all of these into separate countries. That's how asinine this thing in Canada was yesterday. And because they came so close to winning, Nola, see, I want to show you something. 80% of the people in Quebec, 80% of the population are francophones. In other words, they speak French. 95% of the people in Quebec are assholes. So you put that together, and it was like nip and tuck. Do you know what I'm saying? They got the anglophones, and they got the francophones, and they got the xylophones, and the saxophones, and the telephones, and then they have another category for people who speak neither French nor English, which I can't even remember the name of what that was. Yeah, they have a third category for these people like the Cree Indians and the people from Europe who are like Czechoslovakian or whatever the hell it is. I don't want to say that it's kind of divided up there, you know. They're all getting along just great. All this crap about we got our own culture. You know, just show me where you are now, get with the program, and stop trying to, like, manipulate everybody else with all this emotional ethnic bullcrap. That's the problem with the whole world. That's why we got, like, Bosnia and Herzegovina and all these other goddamn... Everybody's got their big ethnic song and a dance. 10:36, what am I getting excited about, okay? Especially with those frogs. They really pissed me off, man, watching that. And I watched a lot of it last night. And every time I see one of those goddamn frogs, whether they're young or old, it makes my goddamn blood boil. Don't forget one thing. There's no... And by the way, what is November 1st the beginning of frog season in Florida? I think so. And how about that guy, speaking of frog season, how about Gary Sheffield? Oh, all right. What's going on there, Gary? Every day in this gun-loving country of ours, there's like another incredible bunch of stories. Like dozens and hundreds and thousands of them. And Gary Sheffield just seems to be a guy who's always in the wrong place at the wrong time. His wife was like having death threats last year. Does anybody remember that? And now he's over there in Tampa, just minding his own business, allegedly, driving up and down the road, and somebody walks up to the car and says, "Hey, Gary, that's for you, baby."
The opinions expressed by the host, guests, or callers on WIOD are not necessarily those of the station or its sponsors. All WIOD programs are copyright 1995 by WIOD Incorporated. No tape recordings or transcripts may be created or distributed without prior written consent of WIOD Incorporated.
You son of a bitch.
This is the best. Who is this bitch? This What is that? Roxanne? Orlando. You must turn on Channel 4 immediately, if not sooner, just to piss off the Sun Sentinel. It's another one of the talking head shows. She's got this not bad-looking broad there, right here, and she's dating the kid who's on the left, who's also not a bad-looking guy. And this thing in the middle, this little queen in the middle, who could be either male, female, or in between, kind of androgynous, with his legs crossed like real tight, like a real screamer, he evidently was sleeping with a guy. And I don't know how he's really... And then we got some, of course, token black... There's so goddamn many of them. Isn't this incredible? Okay, let's go to Hollywood. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Okay.
Good. I'm probably one of the few Americans that have had the opportunity to live abroad.
Yes.
And been to Paris, been to different parts of France and so forth.
And
my point is, once few Americans get a chance to travel in the first place, and they just don't really understand how the world works.
That's for damn sure, right?
I don't understand this whole line. I have like German and English and Welsh and Irish ancestry, right? But I don't go around telling everybody in the world that I'm American with English and French and whatever the hell it is behind me.
Yeah.
What's the point?
I don't understand it. I can't relate to it. For example, my grandparents, on the one side, they were Polish, which I'm certainly embarrassed about, and the other side, they were Russian, and I don't have any interest in Russia or Poland or anything like that. And all the times that I go to Europe, the last places I would ever visit would be Russia, Poland, and certainly I would have no interest in going to Israel, whether I'm Jewish or not. So all of this business about people searching for their roots and looking, and this ethnic superiority and everything, this is the biggest problem we got in the world.
Yeah,
this is one of the reasons that everybody hates each other.
Exactly. That's the O.J. Simpson thing all over again. It just, all it does is separate people. All it does is give us a nice big division there to say, I'm different than you, therefore better.
Exactly.
That's all it does. Why? I mean, those people in Quebec, I don't think have a clue as to how much more difficult they're going to make their lives if they
and
create
I would like to know what kind of a weakling, simpering government ever allowed the condition to be created that it is now, where all these people, instead of making it mandatory for them to all speak English over a period of time because they were in an English-speaking country, they allowed them to live this kind of separatist existence. Kind of reminds me of Dade County a little bit.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that all these advocates of bilingualism are full of crap. It doesn't work.
It does not work. No, it's great to enjoy your own heritage, but it doesn't give you reason to use that as a
When
point.
in Rome, do the Romans. You know what I'm saying? In other words, if they want to live in an English-speaking country, let them learn English. Or if they want to speak Swahili at home, that's their business. But stop trying to impose it on everybody else.
Well, look at Europe. They're trying to develop the euro dollar. No way, man. It's never going to come together.
Don't think so?
They can't. You know, every time they try to tie their money into the union, the money changes and fluctuates, and they get jealous or they get pissed off because their value just went down.
Yeah.
And they pull out again. No one can. There's too many egos going on there.
Well,
People,
We'll have to go see the boys in Sicily. Give them an offer they can't refuse. Have a great day, pal.
You too. Thanks.
See ya.
Bye.
Okay, we got two open lines in Broward, 5249463. One on the purple line, AT&T Wireless. We pay for it, pound IOD. And one on the green line, 1-800. You know the rest. Here's Miami Shores. Hello.
Bill.
Yes, sir.
How come every time these Cubans have rallies down in the park and stuff like that, they always have the Cuban flag and they never raise the American flag? And every time you try to go get a job, it's always, do you speak Spanish? If you're American, you're out. You have to move up out of the state or somewhere up the state to get away
Move to
from
the United
people.
States. That's the idea. I think you just answered your own question. Move to the U.S. We have an open line at Dade, 751. Purple line. Don't tell me it's going to be another one of those days, man. This audience is getting more brutal. We got 756 different things out there on the table now, man. And I'm expecting I'm going to come on here and motivate people to come to that hockey game tonight. I'm telling you, I think Joe Rose finally got his finger on something. I don't want to say it was Andy Ass in the Woods or whatever his name is. He's got his finger onto it. This town is DEDD. Bad. Big time. It never was like really thriving and living, but now it's like that's the reason all we can get to come here is the frogs. Why the hell would anybody in their right mind want to come here? Oh, well, the weather is nice. Well, the weather's nice in a lot of places, for crying out loud. They can go to San Diego. They can go up to Orlando and have something to do up there. They can go to Daytona. They can go to Hawaii and the weather is nice, and everybody speaks whatever they speak out there, Japanese. Here's Coral Springs. Hello.
North Carolina. God save the Queen, Neil.
Yeah.
I was watching Phil Donahue, and they had some frogs on there complaining about the United States, of all things.
So what are they coming here for?
Well,
don't they understand we hate them like poison and we don't want them here anymore, along with their cheap money that ain't worth a damn nickel?
Well, I agree. So he asked her, so what's your complaint? And she says, well, up in Canada, we get 90% of the movies and all the television, and they all want to act like Americans, and we don't get our Canadian influence. So I thought to myself, what might that be?
Wait a minute. What is the Canadian influence?
Well, that was my question. What is that? What is it that they have up there that's so special that they're missing?
Besides going off into the woods with an elk and a six-pack of Molson, what's Canadian culture? There is no Canadian culture. What's Canadian cuisine? I asked this question many times, and other than that smoked meat, which is just pastrami with a bogus name, what is Canadian cuisine? There is no such thing.
I have asked that question myself.
In fact, I'm going to tell you something. As much as I like Toronto, the food in Canada is some of the worst anywhere on the face of the globe.
The only thing I could think about was maybe, in Quebec they have some French food, but that doesn't count. That's only a little part of Canada.
Quebec, I've never been to Quebec, and I can assure you now, after this, I wouldn't even dream of going there if they paid me by the minute.
Well, of course not. I wouldn't suggest it. And as far as the talk shows, you forgot the lovely Carney Wilson.
Oh, yeah. She's a real eye catcher, I'll tell you that.
Isn't she cute, huh?
Yeah.
With Daddy was the 24-hour psychiatrist. That's what we need on TV.
Now I think we understand why he's back on therapy again.
Is he? Oh, well, I never can keep track. He had the 24-hour guy around, and then he was gone. He's back on again?
Yeah, he's sleeping with his teddy bear again. Since Carney went on the tube, he can't handle it.
Oh, well, life's rough, isn't it?
Okay, have a great day, sweetheart.
You too.
See ya.
Bye.
Open line at Broward, 524, that purple line at AT&T Wireless. That thing's hot as a tamale today, man, at pound IOD. What do we got in there? Some goodies from Dr. Atkins? All right.
Oh.
There we go. We got some stuff. Thanks again, by the way, to our friends over at Lorenzo's. I got a beautiful, beautiful bunch of stuff yesterday. Some great fillets, which I had yesterday, which melt in your mouth. Boy, have they got good meat. And this tea, which I'm drinking right now, Throat Coat. Yeah, it's like a little overcoat that sticks right there on your tonsils, and if they're not there, on the adenoids and on your uvula. Man, is that good stuff. And, of course, yesterday, George taped up the box. There was a big box of this stuff for me to take home. This gives you an idea of the kind of insane asylum that we're working in. Puts it in the refrigerator downstairs, but has, like, masking tape around the box to make sure nobody
your name
goes...
on it with a big fat magic
And my
marker.
name around it, like, do not touch, get out of here. And so at 2 o'clock, we go downstairs, open up the refrigerator, he yanks out the box, and somebody has taken, like, a knife and sliced it open to check it out. Evidently, they weren't too keen on the cheesecakes or any of the steaks or the other good stuff. Probably a little bit beyond their scope what was in there. So luckily, all the food was still in there. But they, when in doubt, they had to check it out. Wouldn't you like to have, like, one of those little security cameras that goes, you know, with a videotape that goes nonstop 24 hours, just to see what's going on there in that cafeteria?
And, you know, the latest thing is everybody's getting their mail opened now.
Why is that?
Noticed?
I thought we went past that phase. That was like a couple of years ago. Why? What is that all about?
Apparently we got all new people in here that think that they can open the mail before they pass it along.
Oh, nice.
They find out where it's kept, or they go into the boxes at night, especially on the weekend. On Monday morning, everything is open in all of the mailboxes.
In all of the mailboxes?
Well, I mean, the big envelopes that look like they might have something interesting in
Right.
there, like a book.
Right, like something free. Well, that makes sense. Hey, listen, so we'll invite the audience. We'll have a party, and like every Monday morning, we'll let you come on down and, you know, just ram through everybody's mail. And meet all these celebrities from Hot 105.
Some go to college to get an education, but what are they learning?
UM's president has called for an investigation into whether Hurricanes players have received preferential treatment from campus police.
And the beat goes on. Where there's news, there's the best news team in South Florida. News, talk, and entertainment radio. 610 WIOD.
Have you guys ever seen each other's penises?
It is so huge.
1054 at WIOD. We have an open line in Dade, 2 in Broward, one on the Purple Line, one on all over the place. Okay, it's another great day in paradise. Here's South Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Okay.
How you feeling, by the way?
A little better.
Okay,
Just
that's
a head
good.
cold.
All right. Listen,
My ears ever open up, it'll be dynamite.
Yeah, I can imagine. Listen, I wanted to talk to you. Can we get off this ethnocentric racism junk? I mean, you know, it's not going to change. And like a friend of mine once said, you can't save everyone. Just try not to be there when they blow up. But I wanted to ask you a question about the Atkins diet.
Yeah.
I've heard you going off about it, and I'm sure you're sick of talking about it ad nauseum and whatnot. But I'm a courier, and I'm frequently on the road. I'm in between jobs right now. Can I incorporate this diet into my lunches while I'm on the road?
What do you mean by that?
Well, I'm saying is that because I'm so busy usually when I come home, I don't have time to, you know, make a sandwich or anything like that, and I have to, you know, force feed myself at the fast food places, which I'm getting sick of. And so I was just wondering if there's some way where I could have some kind of meals on the Atkins diet that can cater to people that whose jobs are on the road all the time.
Yeah. Well, why can't you go, like, there's a jillion places where you can go in and get like a steak and eggs, or you can go into you can go through the drive-thru at Wendy's and get bacon cheeseburgers without the bun. Just tell them no bun, and they you know, they slop it to you on that little tinfoil.
Okay, so as long as you could just remove the bun and all the other extras, you can just have like the meat itself, and that's all you really need.
Cheeseburger with bacon sounds good to me. Like double cheeseburger with bacon sounds pretty good.
Okay. Well, you convinced me. I'll buy the book and I'll do it.
But believe me, there's no excuses on this diet. I mean, there's just so many different things that you can eat, from poultry and steak and burgers and cheese and chicken and all kinds of seafood and, you know, lobster and shrimp and butter. I mean, there's just too much on there for people to make excuses.
Okay.
Plus, wait till you taste the cheesecake.
Yeah, I'm sure. It sounds real good.
It is.
Sounds real good.
Okay, pal. Good luck to you.
Thanks.
See ya. 2 open lines in Dade County, 2 in Broward, 751 WIOD in Dade, 524 WIOD in Broward. Purple line, we've had nothing on the, look at that. Unbelievable. This is almost deadlier than yesterday. Here's West Palm Beach. Hello. West Palm. Going once, going twice. Like I said, here's Kendall. Hello.
Hi, Neil. How you doing?
Okay.
Listen, I wanted to talk to you about those talk shows. I mean, they're a bunch of crap. I mean, I was watching Jerry Springer a little bit this morning, and he's got these guys that are dating girls who are guys dressed up as girls.
There you go.
And it's a bunch of crap. All these TV shows, Channel 10 has theirs, Channel 7 has theirs, Channel 6 has theirs.
So let me ask you this question. How come people are watching them?
Because they're stupid.
Right.
I mean, they have nothing better to talk about. They all talk about the same crap.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's entertaining.
You know what it's like? It's like professional wrestling. It's exactly the same thing. It's a freak show.
It's funny you should mention that because I was going to say that. It's got to be all fake.
Yeah,
I
of
mean,
course it's all fake, but the public doesn't care about that. And there are it's like a lot of old women that watch professional wrestling, and if you tell them that it's fake, they would like beat you with their purse because they're convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt that it's for real, and they want to believe it's for real, and don't spoil their fun. And it's the same thing with all these contrived, stupid shows, like the one with this Rolanda that's on right now. It's embarrassing. But this is the mentality of the American public.
I know.
You can't legislate intelligence. I mean, if the people are stupid, if this is what sells and this is what the people want to watch, this is what's going to be on, whether the Sun Sentinel likes it or not.
Well, you know what the Sun Sentinel can do.
And they can stick it, exactly. Okay, have a great day.
Can I call somebody douchebag?
Yeah.
Scott, Matthew, and Donna, you're both Elvira's douchebags.
Okay. See ya. Two open lines in Dade County, 751-9463, 751-WIOD, and one in Broward. See, this is a concept in America that's very, very difficult, becoming increasingly difficult, and as it is, it's more and more frightening for people to understand. Freedom of speech doesn't mean if you like it. Freedom of speech doesn't mean if it's tasteful, if it's educational, if it's within certain boundaries. That's not what freedom of speech is all about. And the people at the Sun Sentinel and William Bennett, God forbid, the former Secretary of Education, one of the biggest Nazis in America today, and all these other goody two-shoes, they're self-appointed censors. They have taken it upon themselves to decide what can be on and what can't be on, what you should watch and what you shouldn't watch. And if you do watch stuff that we don't like, then we're going to go after the sponsors and hassle them and make it go off the air. I mean, this is insanity. If all America wants to watch talking head shows from the time they get up in the morning till the time they go out of bed at night, even though I may not enjoy them, even though I may think it's caca, I know it's caca, but if that's what they want, there you go. I don't see anybody trying to get Hard Copy and Inside Edition and American Journal and all those other goddamn tabloid shows off the air, and that's all the same crap. It's like the Geraldo show. All he has on a Geraldo show now is Mike Walker every day from the National Enquirer. It's the gossip show. And this is nothing new. In fact, do you see that book we had on Walter Winchell that came in here the other day? This has been going on in America for 50, 60 years now. Everybody's a yenta. There's no a premium on intelligence or intellect or anything like that. Everybody is a goddamn yenta. So that's why people are concerned about who's sleeping with this one and who made the phone call to the Queen in Canada and who did it. With caca, with garbage. That's what the public is into, baby. So we're going to take it away. We're going to make it a law. No more caca, no more garbage. How can you legislate that, huh? I mean, if we're going to put on a lot of really stilted, old-style crap, we'll have to put, like, Larry Justice back on here on the weekend.
The longer you listen, the bigger your attitude. 610 WIOD, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. News, talk, and entertainment radio. 610 WIOD.
This is Learning to Spell with Darnell. I'll be Darnell Jackson, and today we're going to spell the word European. Spell it with me now. European. E-U-R-O-P-E-A-N. That's a big one. Now, let's use it in a sentence. So I said to the guy, I says, hey, get away from my car, European on my tire. This is Learning to Spell with Darnell. I'll be Darnell Jackson.
Okay, 11:05 at WIOD. Happy Halloween to you. It says here, a cable sports network may be in the offing, a new one. The LA Times and the New York Times says News Corporation and TCI could announce a deal later this week. News Corporation owns the Fox TV network. TCI is the nation's biggest cable ripoff operator. The reports say a new sports network would potentially compete with ESPN, which is controlled by Cap City's ABC. TCI's programming arm, Liberty Media, has interest in 15 regional sports cable services that could provide programming for the venture. Fox currently owns the rights to broadcast some NFL and NHL and reportedly bidding for baseball out here. So there you go, okay? Like I was saying yesterday, pretty soon it's come to the point, and it should be now. They have the technology to do it now, where you watch whatever you want. You pay for, like, ball games, for movies, and that's it. Whatever you want to watch, okay? If you want to watch the talking head, pay him a quarter, pay him 50 cents, and you watch it. And you assholes at the Sun Sentinel, mind your own business and stop trying to be dictators. Just like the same thing with their goody two-shoes attitude about gambling. Oh, gambling is evil. Drinking is evil. Sex is evil. Everything is evil, including reading the goddamn newspaper. So let's stop them all. Here's Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. How you doing?
Buenos dias. I'm here.
Okay. You were commenting about Canadian cuisine.
Yeah, what is it besides smoked meat?
Besides smoked meat. Have you ever tried poutine?
I beg your pardon.
Putin.
What is that?
Doesn't
he play for the Canadians?
No. It's like Putin. It sounds like Putang, but it's Putin, and it's a noodle with like brown gravy. I've had it at Hollywood Beach. You know, they've got all those restaurants there.
Yeah.
But it
sounds
is
really
nasty.
luscious to me.
It is nasty, and that's the only thing I think that they've brought down here.
All they got is Molson beer and smoked meat, and that's it. There's no such thing as Canadian cuisine. They know nothing from food. And, I mean, I love Toronto. Canada's a pretty neat country in a lot of ways, and hockey is, number one with me. But this business about some kind of a culture that they're hanging on to up there, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
What are these frogs dreaming about?
Exactly. Question. Do you ever get a chance to watch, I'm going to switch this totally around, Sightings? Do you ever check that out?
Yeah, but you know something? I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. That's a show that's very disappointing to me because they have some really interesting stuff on there.
Right.
And then they put these real silly, like Rosa Lopez stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, but you remember the autopsy?
Oh, wait a minute. Can I interrupt for one second?
Go.
On Unsolved Mysteries, which I do like that show. I don't get to see it often, but I like that show. They had a thing the other day, which should have been on Sightings, and it was about a bunch of these religious nuts.
Right.
And it was somewhere, it's always in the Deep South, like those nuts that are going to Georgia, what's the name of that place in Georgia?
Aintree?
No, not it's close to Aintree, but it's one of those, the Virgin Mary shows up for a barbecue or whatever, and Jesus is on the, I shouldn't have said barbecue, that was bad. But anyway, it's like somewhere in South Carolina or something like that, and they were looking through these trees in this one spot, and they had these hundreds of people coming, and they saw all this gold and all this stuff in the sky, and they saw the picture of Mary and Jesus. So anyway, they took all these Polaroid pictures.
Right.
So they brought in a photographic expert, and he showed, in fact, there was one picture where they were saying, oh, yeah, look, here's the name of somebody from my past. It was a list of names that was superimposed on the picture.
Right.
And it turns out they put the pack of film. It was, Polaroid. They put the pack in there wrong.
No way.
Yeah. And they showed that when you reverse if you open up the back of the pack, it's got like a list of different things on there.
Right.
And all it was like the reverse printing of what was on the thing.
Holy cow.
Yeah,
That's
and they were turning all this crap into and all these people, man, are so stupid. It's frightening.
For it.
Yeah.
They were probably
they were having their own sightings. Yeah, they were sucking it.
They're looking for just anything to validate what they're believing.
Hocus pocus,
but what
man.
I wanted to say was, remember the autopsy tape.
Mm-hmm.
And the dude who supposedly brought it to light was a guy named Santilli.
Yeah.
He was the guy with the glasses and the balding head.
Santilli Putan, yeah.
Right. Yeah, he eats Putan. They confronted him, citing sent someone to his place.
Yeah.
And they said, we're with you on this, but if it's real, we'll pay for it. We want somebody to really validate the authenticity of the tape.
Yeah.
And they called him out on it, and he just totally cowered behind them. The agreement that we've made with Fox and so that's another.
The first time I watched it, I believed it. I wanted to believe it, and then when I watched the full thing the second time, when somebody sent me the tape of it, which I still have at the house.
You saw that with that crash stuff and everything.
It was like a grade Z, like a bad basement grade Z movie.
Right, it was.
Yeah.
Did you also? I dropped off that envelope with that
then
video
when I saw June Allison running around in the back, I knew there was something wrong. But anyway, did I get what?
The envelope about that video I dropped off last week while you were gone.
You mean the Rimmer thing?
The UFOs are real video.
No.
You got to ask George to show you that because I dropped it off while you were out.
Oh, George says he's got it and intercepted it. You gave it to me?
Yeah.
UFOs are real?
Yeah.
Stuff.
It's supposed.
It was in your box.
You have to get it through the 800, but it's supposed to be totally. If you look at what I gave you, you'll read about it. Maybe you'll be interested in checking that out.
Okay.
All right, man.
Thanks, pal.
Later.
See ya. Okay, look at the phone again, man. I'm telling you, you people are giving me intestinal gas bad. I mean, it's just 1 minute I'm sitting here very comfortably, everything is beautiful, and the next minute they're like gone. All the date lines just opened up. There must be some exciting thing going on in a foreign language in date. What a concept. 751-9463, 751-WIOD, and also on the green lines, 1-800-944-WIOD. Oh, my God, what a place. I'm moving to Quebec, okay? I'm moving to goddamn Quebec City. How are the Nordiques doing, by the way? See, that's the reason that they're pissed off. It's got nothing to do with language. It's got nothing to do with culture. It has nothing to do with anything. They're pissed off. They lost the goddamn Quebec hockey team, who, by the way, beat, who were they playing last night? They beat Dallas 6-1, and they're pissed off about that. Pretty good team. And they abandoned Quebec, eh? How do you like that? Wasn't bad enough. The Canadians got off to the bad start and had to fire the coach and the general manager. That wasn't embarrassing enough. They lost the goddamn Nordique. That's what they're pissed off about.
Our friends are aware, first big race of the season for the Homestead Motor Complex. Their first big race is coming up Sunday. We're giving away tickets.
We are.
You love that stuff. You make NASCAR noises.
I do, man. I'm drinking Pennzoil right out of the can.
How come when you add Beano to that, your NASCAR noises stop?
Rick and Suds, 6 to 10 a.m. on News, Talk, and Entertainment Radio, 610 WIOD.
Martha, I can't get up.
What do you mean?
Well, the older I'm getting, the tougher it is to climb out of bed and start the day.
George doesn't know it, but this morning he's getting Prune Tang, a brand new breakfast drink that'll get him up and active before he knows it.
Here, honey, drink this.
Not bad. Tastes like cranberry juice and tuna. I'm feeling good. I feel like I could move a mountain. Come here, you little muffin.
Oh, George.
Don't let age get you down. Try the new breakfast drink sweeping the rest homes of America. New Prune Tang. Prune Tang. At stores everywhere.
By the way, if anybody at the Sun Sentinel's listening, we did not say Poontang. It's 11:16 at WIOD. Don't forget our Center 1 thing starts officially tomorrow. And I was talking with Phil Costin, who said, that Sarah is an imbecile. I said, I know that. But anyway, so the 954 thing, forget about that. You don't need to dial that, because now, first of all, we got this new deal in Dayton-Broward, this back-and-forth deal where first we went from the old where you dialed 1 and the number. Then we went to where you had to dial 1305 and the number. That lasted about 5 minutes. People got pissed off. So they said, okay, we'll charge you a quarter. Isn't that what it is, a quarter? And if you live in Broward, you can call a Dade number. You just dial the number, and the same back and forth back at you. So the number is 561-0078, and starting tomorrow, you can order your best of the T-shirts and the CDs, the cassettes, etc., and so on. 561-0078, and we'll be doing the thing at the where is it? At the Fashion Mall on Sunday 1 to 3. Well, there's so damn many places, you know what I'm saying? And of course, this stuff will be in border stores starting tomorrow too. How's Phil's T-shirt look? Here's the Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Okay.
Is it true that Premier Vitamin thing causes cancer and stuff?
Is it true what?
Premier Vitamin, that thing Cox is announcing?
Who said that?
Doesn't it?
So in other words, now you're taking a brand name thing that Don Cox is advertising, and you want to say a particular vitamin, and you want to get me involved in the middle of that? You're a jackass, man. Let me say it again, and I haven't even seen the Cox thing. Chromium picolinate, according to the study at Dartmouth and George Washington University, causes chromosome damage and is believed to be carcinogenic. And again, I can't tell you how much and what dosages over what period of time, but again, that's the story. So if you want to continue taking it, be my guest. I, for one, am only telling you what I'm doing. I'm not taking it. Until I got some more information, forget it. Open line on the purple line, pound IOD. We got one on the green line, 1-800, whatever it is. We got two on the, it's brutal. Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
How's it going,
Neil? I just hung up on somebody on 4. That's okay. Might as well get rid of them now. Yes, sir.
Yeah, what kind of American foods are there?
Meaning what?
Well, you're talking about Canadian cuisine. What's American?
How about hamburgers, pal? There's 8 million different kinds of American food.
That's a gourmet meal.
Huh?
That's a gourmet meal.
Meaning what? I'm not talking about
you're
gourmet.
You're knocking Canadian things, and
I'm not knocking Canadian things. I'm saying there's no such thing as Canadian culture, man. What is Canadian culture?
No such thing. What's American culture?
What's American culture?
And,
I'll give you one example of American culture, man. There it is. Look at that. Can't even get rid of them. Pick up the body. 2 open lines at Broward, 524-9463, 524-WIOD. Another uptight Canuck there, okay? See, you want to get yourself right in there with those frogs. Now, he's probably one of those guys that would wish he could have been up there in Quebec, which I'm sure he ain't even from there, voting for the separatists yesterday, just because the frogs could have their own way. Just because he's another wimp. It reminds me of all you people that go to the Dolphin games and stand up for that stupid invocation. That right there, you don't have to have anything else. That shows you how weak 99 9/10% of the public is. Pay a ticket. You pay $30, $40, $50 to go to a stupid football game, and you got to stand up and bow your head while somebody's mumbling some stupid goddamn prayer, which maybe it ain't even somebody from your own religion and usually is not. But hey, you're afraid you're going to offend somebody or stand out in the crowd, so therefore, like the bunch of sheep that most of you are, like a bunch of lemmings, you go ahead and do it. Unbelievable. Fort Lauderdale, hello.
Yeah, hi.
Yes, sir.
I was born in Quebec, Montreal.
Eh?
Yeah. I have a problem with what's going on up there.
Yeah.
My parents, when I was born, moved to an English-speaking area.
Right.
And
Not Kamloops.
No, just a...
Okay, I think he said French farts is what he said, but it came out like something else. Okay, we have an open line. Well, I was asking for somebody from Quebec to call, but unfortunately he said the F word on the air, and we just can't do it. I think he was expressing himself there, though. I think what he was trying to say was F the frogs. Oh, maybe he was trying to say frogs, but it came out something that sounded like it, but wasn't quite. Okay, nice going, pal. Okay, take away his passport. 2 open lines on the green lines, 1-800-944. I can see a tremendous amount of enthusiasm building for the Islander-Panther game at the arena tonight at 7:30. I'm not getting no report from Jeff Moss or anybody else about the goddamn Panther Pack, which ought to be well sold out by now, and about the other 3,000 or so seats that remained unsold for tonight's game, which ought to be sold out. I don't know what it is. I mean, this never was like a really living and enthusiastic and breathing and exciting place. But boy, the last year or two, this place is drying up like a gigantic prune. I mean, the search for life continues, but I don't think we're going to be successful.
610 WIOD. Download this.
Why don't you go back to Canada, you Jew bastard?
Son of a bitch. He rose from obscurity to claim a place among the world's most powerful entities.
I am a Democrat's worst nightmare.
But in the end, he was defeated, crushed, sent to the political showers, like the Wicked Witch of the West.
I ain't melted, but I am all wet.
Now, 4 years later, he's alive again.
I'm back.
A Rotergeist. He has risen again to kill Republican dreams.
I'm going to get you, Mr. Dole.
He is ready to squash Democratic hopes.
You see, when they vote for my party, they ain't voting for yours, Billy Boy.
A Rotergeist. He has reappeared out of thin air and creates solutions to complex problems the same way.
You see, we can solve this whole deficit problem with a 14-ton piggy bank and a really big quarter.
A Rotergeist, the most terrifying political extravaganza ever to hit town.
Okay, 11:25. A lot of you, of course, with the holidays coming up, are very worried about going to the airport because there's all these little extra delays now and checking your ID and all this stuff. Because people are very concerned about bombs on planes, things like that, terrorist acts. Well, here's a new twist on bombs on planes. True story. It's in the paper this morning, so it must be true. Rowdy passenger grounded, it says, New York. An investment banker accused of assaulting a flight attendant and defecating on a food service cart during a United Airlines flight was grounded. Under new terms of bail, Gerard B. Finneran, 58, must get permission from the federal prosecutor before boarding a commercial flight again. He will also undergo evaluation for alcohol abuse, according to Peggy Long, spokeswoman for the U.S. Attorney. So if somebody is on a plane that you're flying, steps out into the aisle, squats and says, I'm going to drop a bomb, hold your nose. Man, that's a beautiful thing, huh? He's under investigation for maybe a little alcohol problem there, huh? As in maybe a little bit too much booze. But I want to stop and ask you, those of you who've ever flown on a plane, which should be all of you, how do you, like, defecate on the food cart without, like, somebody catching on before you, like, drop the bomb? How do you do that? Very carefully?
Maybe he was behind one of those curtains or something.
As a matter of fact, most of the food I've eaten on planes recently, it kind of tastes like somebody got to it. Okay, anyway, let's go to Pembroke Pines. Hello.
Hi, Neil. How are you? First-time caller, long-time listener.
All right.
Big hockey fan. See you at all the games. I've been a season ticket holder the last 3 years like yourself.
Yeah.
We have probably one of the best teams in the NHL, and we can't draw. I mean...
But you know something? Nobody is drawing. They had, when the Penguins played in New York, the Islanders last Saturday night,
right?
They had 7,200 paid admissions.
Wow.
When the Devils played, I think also on the same night, this is the Stanley Cup champions, they had 10,000 people, and they're drawing so poorly, and they're having such a hard time getting that contract worked out in Jersey, that it looks like there's still a good chance the Devils may wind up in Nashville next year.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
The first 2 years, I turned a bunch of people onto it, and everybody loved it. And you figure, this is going to go over big. The Panthers are playing great, and it's just, I don't know, I just don't understand it. And I have a question for you because there's nobody in this town you can call for any questions. In the Panther game against Ottawa, late in the game, they pulled their goalie. We scored a goal on an empty net. It was 6-on-4.
Right.
Is that considered a shorthanded goal?
Shorthanded goal?
Yeah.
What do you mean shorthanded?
We got a penalty. They had 5-on-4. They pulled the goalie. It was 6-on-4.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Scored an open net goal.
That's a good question. I never really thought about that. If you're one of those statistical, I'll have to ask somebody who knows.
Right, because last year we had none, and Fitzy has 2 this year. So
Yeah.
I was just curious about that.
I would think so. I mean, a
I
goal
would
is a
think so,
goal.
too.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good luck, and we'll see you at the games, buddy.
I'll be there, pal.
Okay.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Don't forget, we got 75 million seats unsold. We got those 1,800 Panther pack at $9 a piece for the Islanders and the Panthers. Should be a win for us tonight. Mark Fitzpatrick in goal. Jody Hollow's out. We know that. And who else is out? Who else got hurt? Come on, real quick. Dave Lowry. That was a nasty thing that Darby Hendrickson did to Dave Lowry, even if he does play for the Leafs. Nice going, Darby. If you can't play good, at least injure somebody, right? But I don't want to get too hockey intensive now because I realize there ain't no interest. What are these people interested in besides? I think those people in Congress and the Sun Sentinel, I think they're right. Let's ban all those talking TV head shows. Even Bob Barker can't compete with them. That goddamn Price is Right, which was number 1 in the daytime for 100 years, he's on the verge of going off. How do you like that? Because they can't compete with this feeding. It's the National Enquirer mentality, baby. I've been telling you that for years, and finally we come full circle. Here it is. That's all they want is tabloid everything. So just turn on Channel 7, lock the door, and stay inside. You don't. Now, why do you put that on there again? Why do you do that to me again?
He doesn't understand.
Why don't you get it?
I'm sorry about yesterday. I thought you hung up on me.
No, that was today. We have an open line in Dade, 751 WIOD. That's Stubby Jr. again, man. I don't want chronics. I want different people. I want new and different living and breathing people. Stubby, don't take it personal unless you want to, but your voice, it annoys me. It grates on me. It's like rubbing your fingernails on somebody's ass. Okay, I can't stand it. There just are certain chronics, man, with that oh, God. You just hear the voice and immediately you want to blow your brains out, or maybe his. That sounds like a good idea. Boy, if my ears would ever open up, I would feel so goddamn great. Oh, there he goes with his ears again. Well, when you got a head cold, guess what? Your ears plug up. That's the last thing to open up. The first thing that opens up when you got a bad cold, that's it. Oh, man, wide. When the doctor says open wide, I already did this morning, many times. But your ears, they get plugged up. And then, of course, when you're in the shower and you least expect it, you get a little water in the ear and you turn your head. Oh, it just opened up. All right. And you're screaming and yes. Oh. Here's Margay with our hockey answer. Hello.
Yeah, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's considered a shorthanded empty net goal. If he would have looked in the paper, he would have saw in parentheses S-H-E-N.
S-H-I what? S-H-E-N, yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, in other words, they have a separate statistical category for that.
Yeah.
Boy.
So.
You really have to be a nitpicker and a nose picker to care about that.
Well, they have that stuff in the paper, so, you notice it and you look at it.
You got to figure it out.
You take it in, so.
Right.
Hey, congratulations to the Braves, and if you get a chance, could you play that theme song from FSU?
Play what?
That FSU thing for the Braves?
The FSU thing that they stole. Well, here's a guy who's honest at any rate. He's a Braves fan, but he admits they stole it from the Seminoles.
That's right.
Okay, pal.
Thanks.
See ya. Oh! If we could just get Ryan Klesko a haircut, man, I tell you, you look pretty good.
Regresa Canadá, judío bastardo.
So anyway, guess what? I bet the Knots Landing lady might call us one of these days. I kind of doubt it, though. Isn't it a shame that we have people out there, we know they're listening, but we don't have anything to talk to them about? Like her, the only thing we could ever talk about was Knots Landing, which is off the air, and the Cubs, which I don't care about the Cubs. But Ryan Sandberg, wasn't bad enough. He made the decision in the first place to hold him up for that big contract when his career was basically over, and the Chicago Tribune Company was too stupid to realize that, and they gave him all that big money, and he flopped. And then he retired because he was too embarrassed. Well, I guess he's not too embarrassed anymore because Rhino's making a comeback at age 36 next season. He's coming back. Oh, for what? For what? The man's a multi-millionaire. He's got more money than God. He's going to come back and make a goddamn fool out of himself. It's pathetic, Rhino. We have an open line on that purple. A purple line has been weak today. Everybody must be on the inside, huh? Or maybe they're all frogs. Maybe that's what it is. All the people you see out there are like, they're boat people and frogs. They're the only people driving on the road. There sure are a lot of them. Driving erratically and badly. North Miami, hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Neil, how you doing?
Okay.
Oh, French frog right here, bud.
Yeah.
What's going on? What's going on up there?
What's going on up there?
I don't.
The frogs are croaking. They're getting wiser.
man, it's unbelievable. I don't get much information being down here most of the time.
Well, you got to have a satellite dish. You can watch the CBC.
I got a satellite.
So you can watch CBC Montreal on Anik, huh?
I wanted to ask you about that. I can get the Hockey Night in Canada, but it comes in all super blurry.
But you got a crappy dish then.
Do
you got
I?
about an 8-footer?
It's pretty big, and then some.
I'm talking about your dish.
Yeah.
8 or
No,
10?
But I get it, but it's
How
also
big is
still-
your dish?
I'm not sure exactly. I mean,
You're
it's
not
not
sure
one of
how-
those RCA ones.
Huh?
It's not an RCA one.
No,
it's a
I
big
understand it's a big dish, but is it like you don't know?
One. Right, I don't
Well,
know
maybe you got a
exactly.
crappy receiver. That's possible.
Yeah, so like a System 50.
Because, well, you know, the old Anik satellite, it's pretty weak. It's not the best. The new Anik one comes in clear as a bell, but the one that the Hockey Night is on, it's it's got some sparkles on it.
Yeah.
But it should come in pretty good, though.
I mean, I can barely follow the puck with it, but I just
Really?
like listening to Dick
Oh.
Irvin and those guys.
Dick Irvin? Oh, jeez. Oh. Oh.
And Don Cherry, come on.
Oh. Well, Don Cherry, now you're talking, but not with that Dick Irvin. Oh, God. Talk about a desperate frog.
And then sometimes I switch it over to the French just to try to follow. Oh, geez.
Well, why don't you watch the Leafs on there for crying out loud? Get Bob Cole and Harry Neal. Get some real announcers, not Dick Irvin.
Yeah, well, okay. But,
You won't know the difference anyway. I mean, you can't see the picture, right? So you won't know which game it
I
is.
can follow it, but, it's just real blurry, and then I just get frustrated with it, and then I turn it off.
You need a new receiver, man, or
Yeah.
a new dish.
But the technician couldn't, turn that in better, huh?
So, well, it all depends. I have no idea how crappy your thing is. So how long have you had it?
It's been like a year and a half. I mean, I get everything else pretty
And
good.
it was never any better in the beginning?
No, it's always been like that.
You must have a real cheap receiver then.
It's on E2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a crappy receiver?
I don't know. I mean, I wasn't the person that bought it, so I was my
so you know
brother.
nothing about it, which is very obvious.
Right, my brother-in-law.
Talk to a satellite guy. In fact, maybe you want to talk to George. He'll give you Mohammed's number, and you can he'll sell you a song and a dance.
Yeah.
Well, he'll come and take a look at it for you.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good.
So how come if you've got the dish, you weren't watching the CBC last night with all the up-to-the-minute frog news?
Oh, I was working and stuff. So
Oh,
I
man, it was, I got to be honest, it was pretty damn entertaining because it was so close and it was back and forth. And they would show the yes crowd, they were screaming, and then the no crowd would be screaming.
Right.
And, for Canada, it was pretty damn
I
exciting.
tell you, being here my whole life and being French-Canadian, I'm still a Canadian citizen, and I probably will never become American citizens for my own reasons, but...
Probably
you have,
tax evasion, I would think.
yeah, and just, Medicare. My dad's up there now, terminally ill, and he worked his whole life here, and now he went back, and they took care of him as soon as he got back, so you can't deny that.
Yeah.
But you have to understand, I mean, you got like 8 or 9 provinces, and you got one that speaks French, and they're basically French has to be the first language up there, and that's the most important thing up there.
And why is that? It's because they're arrogant and they're obnoxious.
We
they're
are
stubborn.
arrogant people.
Huh?
We are arrogant people, but it's a
But you're not,
question of pride and
not
culture.
speaking French.
Huh?
You're not speaking French. You speak perfect English.
I do, but I was raised as a French-Canadian person in my household.
So then what's the problem?
There is no problem. I mean, you can still have the English, but look down here. Go to Hialeah. You ever been to Hialeah?
Yeah.
What's the first language in Hialeah?
Espanol, baby.
Baby,
well, that's Dade County. It's a separate country, and it goes to show you it's not a good idea. Dade County's not working. It's a failure. Dade County's a nightmare.
I work for a company, which I won't mention, a chicken-oriented Spanish stuff.
Canadá, judío bastardo.
Yeah.
And, all my employees are just all Spanish-oriented, and it's hard for me to communicate with them because we have no basis.
Doesn't that prove my case? How come? What are they? Just got off a banana boat or something?
Most of them.
Well, that's the problem. Send them to school and let them learn English. That's the
exactly. But in Canada, though, when you go to school, I mean, like I went to an English school there 1 year, and then we're mandatory to take French. Where if you go to French school,
all right. Let me ask you: if you go to school in Montreal or Quebec City, you learn English and French, right?
Exactly. Like if you go to an English school, like I did, because I was raised here, I was mandatory to speak
but
French.
don't you see how unreasonable this is? In other words, if they know perfect English and if the language of the entire country is English, why can't they just do business and speak English in public? And if they want to speak French at home, or it's just like here in Dade County, it's the same thing. If people want to speak Spanish, if they're more comfortable than that at home, fine. But it's America. English, whether it's official or not, it makes no difference.
Quebec,
English is the language of this country.
Yeah, but Quebec is different because English
because
was
the
never
French
the
are
first language
arrogant.
there.
They're
No,
arrogant. They're pushy.
English was never the first language there. It was always French.
Why?
Because of who came over, Cartier and all those people.
Cartier, for crying out loud, he makes a nice diamond.
Yeah, I know. But,
Yeah.
I mean, that's how it is, and they want to just make sure that...
They may want to make sure that they get everybody pissed off all the time. And believe me, they're doing a good job.
Oh, God, as long as I can get them to tip 15%, I would be happy.
Yeah, good luck to you, pal.
Anyways, in closing, Mario
Back at you.
Tremblay, God.
Okay.
Bye.
See ya. Open line at Dade, 751 WIOD. By the way, I heard somebody call in, because I did listen to about 10 minutes of Joe Rose this morning when I heard Gilbert on with Rick and Sud. Sorry, guys, but, And somebody called in there. I guess they were having another one of their stupid polls where they were either voting for something. I mean, that's a cheap way to buy calls, guys, but I guess the way things are today, I can understand it. But the thing was the ugliest sports person, and somebody called in and mentioned Luke Robitaille and what a long neck he's got and how ugly he is. Anybody that thinks that Luke Robitaille is ugly, I'd like to see the puss on a caller who called that in, okay? I would just love to see. That would be like Rod Roddy calling Bob Barker ugly.
Castro goes to the UN, and Cuban Americans don't like it. That's life. And then there's real life.
Police Detective Sonia Friedman says the young couple brutally murdered in Fort Lauderdale knew the murder victim in Boca.
The best news, talk, and entertainment radio. 610 WIOD.
So I says to Andy Calb, I says, what was this story about this big to-do with Phil Henry and Sarah yesterday? And Andy says, that fucking bitch. I mean, people are getting pretty emotional around here about this production bitch. I mean, about Sarah. You see, when it's one person in the building that thinks you're full of crap, then it could, it's either or. When it gets to be two, then we start having some doubts. But when you got a problem with everybody else in the building, when everybody else is wrong and you got the answers, everybody else is full of crap, then we have to start wondering just exactly what the problem is there. You know what I'm saying?
Please don't say the F word.
Well, I'm thinking about it. We have an open line on the blue line, 524-9463, 524-WIOD. I mean, it's just astonishing. See, one thing about this company, I want you to understand, don't ever forget this. They hire people off the street. People who have no qualification, no background, people who have been fired in other places, people who are proven incompetent, I mean, beyond a shadow of a doubt, people who have no background in whatever job they're going to place them in. They give them a title. Once Cox Corporation gives you a title, they will stand behind you in spite of everybody else, in spite of all common sense, in spite of everything, until they fire your ass. That's the amazing part. Then after they fire your ass, they run around saying, oh, boy, was that an asshole or what? Instead of saying, you're really screwing up, you're out of line, you're full of crap, either straighten up, get your act right, or you're out of here. They don't do that. It's not only Bob Green. It wasn't only Mike Disney. This is the Cox bureaucratic mentality, and this is why this place is what it is. Here's Davey. Hello.
Neil, what are you eating for lunch today?
What am I eating? Why, you writing a book or what?
American cuisine, you fat Jew bastard.
Okay. Let's go to, there's that same frog calling back again, okay? What's the matter? We offend you? Let's hear some of that great Canadian cuisine, man. God. Even Toronto, a city which is one of the greatest, probably the best city in the Western Hemisphere, but nevertheless, man, the food there, I wouldn't feed it to my dogs. I don't think they would touch it. You can't complain about the food there because there isn't any. It's weak. Here's Boynton Beach. Hello.
Hello, Neil. How you doing?
Okay.
Hey, listen, I'm going to talk about the
Can't hear you. My ears are plugged to begin with, but you sound like you're taking a mud bath.
Hey, I'm talking about the Philadelphia Flyers here.
Yeah.
I grew up in South Philly, and listen, that's the hardest ticket to get. They're always sold out since 1967.
Yeah, there's nothing like those Philly fans, man. They're really great.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Listen, the problem I think is with the Panthers here is the transportation system. If I want to go to a game...
Well, let me ask you a question. How come the first two seasons we filled up almost every game? We had 97% capacity, and now the transportation, which is exactly the same as it was the first 2 years, now there's a problem. I don't get it.
Okay, listen, I want to go to a game, right? I got to take Tri-Rail, and I got to leave the game at the end of the second period to get home.
Yeah, well, that sucks.
It does. That's why I don't go. The only time I go is when the Flyers are playing, and I can get people to go.
Well, when they build a new arena in Broward, then you won't have to worry about that.
And I can't wait for that to happen.
Yep.
Thanks for letting me talk.
Okay.
See.
Oh, I mean, there's a guy that's got a legitimate problem. I mean, why would anybody in their right mind want to go to a sporting event or a concert or something and then have to leave way to hell before it's over because there's only one way to get back home? That's part of the screwed up, because we got great mass transit in this town because we're a world-class city, right? Right. Just keep saying it. It's going to make it so. We have two open lines. They're both on those green lines in Palm Beach. If there's anybody up there who has any idea what's going on, which I doubt, 1-800-944-9463. 1-800-9... See, Palm Beach crowd, those are the people, they relate to the trailer park trash that's on those TV talking head shows. So why do I even waste my time with them? Because when you see people who are just like you, then you can relate to it. Just like when I saw that fruitcake there on Rolanda, whatever her name was. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello, Lee?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I was calling in respect to the election in Canada.
You see,
Pardon me, I'm a non.
You're a non?
Yes.
Non what? Non-person?
No, I'm against the separatists.
Well, congratulations, sir. You whipped their ass by about 10 votes.
By 10 votes, yes. Actually, the issue about the French culture dates back to the fall of Quebec to the British.
Yeah, and they're still licking their wounds about that.
They're still licking their wounds.
Yeah. They want to refight the goddamn war. That's their problem.
That's the real problem.
And the Cree Indian says, you want to fight the French and Indian War all over again, we're ready to do it. I think the goddamn Indians ought to invade Quebec. That's what I think. They ought to invade the rest of the goddamn province and wipe those frogs out of there. Do us all a favor.
Because a few years back, they were having a constitutional talk, and the Native Americans there were, asserting the same rights
the
that
Native
Quebecers
Americans
want. The Indians.
Yeah.
Yes. And what happened was that the Quebecers wanted the rights, to have a French culture and all that, but they were not willing to recognize
Can you
the rights
tell me
of
what
Indians.
that means? What is, besides the language, what is French culture? What does that mean?
I presume that to be the culture that has been there at least since the 15 or 1600s.
But what is it? Besides being cheap and driving slow, what is it?
I guess it's kind of archaic because they have been, if you please, divorced from France for almost 300 years now.
But what is French culture? What is it? See, you can't even explain it. They can't explain it because there is no such thing.
Yes.
It's called being stubborn, boneheaded, and speaking a language that nobody else understands. That's what it means. So
Yes.
congratulations again, amigo.
Okay.
Hasta
Sure.
que mil vidas. We have an OC. You got to speak French. You got to speak English. You got to speak Spanish. You got to speak Creole. You got to speak Vietnamese. You got to speak Korean. You got to speak. Oh my God! Just everybody speak English. That's the way we want it. We don't want to impose our values or attitudes on anybody else. But we're pretty stupid. We're not really well educated. We can't certainly learn English, much less a foreign language. So just everybody in the world, stop confusing us. Speak English, and we'll get along a lot better. Okay? Okay. Thanks for solving that for us, Neil. You're welcome.
610 WIOD. An accident waiting to happen.
Packwood can't keep his pecker in his pants.
Pick my nose again. I just can't wait to pick my nose again. I'll roll up greenie balls and ping them at my friends. I just can't wait till I pick my nose again. Pick my nose again. Drill my index finger right up through my brain. Here we go again. I gotta dig 'em out before I go insane. I can't refrain, 'cause I got a cold again. Long joyous hours of digging gold again. I'd use your handkerchief, but who knows where it's been. No thank you, I'll just pick my nose again. Here's some picking for ya.
Are you...
Suck it in and hold it.
Pick my nose again. What a great way to pass the time along the highway. You can be my friend, but don't send those big old boogers flying my way. It won't make my day. Pick my nose again. I'll do it by myself or with my friend. Act like your nose is itching if you must pretend. But whatever you do, just pick that nose again. And I don't give a damn who it offends. What?
11:52 at WID. By the way, right under the story about the rowdy passenger who defecated on the food cart on the United Airlines plane, right under there is a story that says body stealing charge, Ogdensburg, New York. 3 teenagers are accused of digging up a body in a graveyard, then cutting off his head and carrying it around in a plastic bag. Wait till you hear this now. When I found out, it just made my stomach turn, said Vera Nichols, owner of Nichols Funeral Home in Ogdensburg. This goes beyond just devilment. It's a lot different from last Halloween when kids tipped outhouses and such things. These are bad boys, says Vera. Profound statement, Vera.
Oh!
All right. The ages, 18, 17, and 15, the boys were charged as adults with body stealing, a felony, and opening a grave, a misdemeanor. Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir?
How you doing?
Okay.
Hey, I was watching TV last night. I was flipping through the stations.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you hung up on me.
Why would I do that?
I don't know.
You haven't even said anything
I'm
yet.
paranoid, man. All right, listen, I was watching.
Do you want me to hang up on you? Would that make your day or something?
Please. No, listen. This
Would
is
it
very
hurt your feelings if I hung up?
I was flipping through the stations, and I think it was Current Affair or something.
Yeah.
And I saw Nancy Humphreys from Channel 4.
Who the hell is that?
Nancy Humphreys. She's the news anchor. She had blonde hair.
Channel 4?
Yeah, she used to be on Channel 4.
Which is now Channel 6.
With Ed Odell and, some other people.
I never heard of her. Never heard of the bitch.
You never heard of her?
No.
Well, anyway, she was on there last night, but her name said Nancy Odell. And I'm wondering if they got married or not, Ed Odell and her.
Well, I'll be damned.
I don't know. It was just kind of weird seeing
Is she
that.
black?
No, she's white. He's black.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not that that should make a difference, but especially now with OJ and everything, people are a little concerned about that.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I was just
Nancy
wondering
Odell?
if anybody knows about that.
Okay, well, that's something we can stick our finger into.
All right, go
Okay,
Panthers.
pal. See ya.
See ya.
Open line today. Maybe somebody's got the answer for that. Is Nancy Odell married to Digger Odell? Open line in Dade, 751, 1 in Broward, 524, 1 on the two on the green line, 1-800-944. They're dead. They're deader than dirt. How come we can't get some goddamn Canadians calling in here today, huh? What the hell is wrong with you people, for crying out loud? Just because the Leafs are in last place, I'm not getting all too upset about it. We got a long way to go. We'll be all right once Matt Sundin comes back. Let's go with you goddamn Canucks. Let's hear about that Canadian cuisine, about that smoked meat. 524-9463, an open line in Broward. Here's Pembroke Pines on the purple line. Hello.
Neil, how you doing today,
Okay.
sir? I didn't get a chance to listen to you yesterday, but did someone bring it to your attention about a banner flying over Joe Robbie Stadium Sunday?
Yeah, we had about 600 calls on it, yeah.
Like I said, I didn't get a chance to listen.
Okay, well, thanks for the old news. Okay, a purple line is open, a yellow line is open, a Broward line is ringing, WIOD.
Hey, Andy?
Yeah.
Yeah, you tell Neil he's full of crap.
About what?
Because if he spends so much time in Toronto, then he knows there's good food there.
Food sucks there. This is the same guy that called before.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so how many times are you going to call and tell us the same thing?
Well, you're full of crap.
Yeah, this is the third call, and you're still full of crap. See, that's what we got. That's our Canadian listener out there. There's a lot of good Canadians out there. He's not one of them. He's an asshole. The food in Toronto sucks. Their pizza sucks. Their steak sucks. Their, seafood sucks. Their Chinese food is abysmal. The food there is bad. Although they do have Smarties up there, which are like they're like a foreign equivalent of M&M's. You ever have Smarties? They're made by Nestle. Can't get them here. You get them in Europe and you get them in Canada. Like I said, they know their candy up there. They got good candy, but the rest of their food blows. So just go up there and eat a lot of candy. Open line at Dade, 751 WIOD, the two green lines in Palm Beach. I'm telling you, man, if we got a one share left in this market, it's got to be one of the greatest miracles in the history of the human race. This is like, we're back in the Alex Bennett stages, like back when we were down to like a 4 share on this show. We're back in a never land. We're finished. We're done. We're sitting here, and in the meantime, they're flying banners over Joe Robbie Stadium trying to be comedians, and we got the program director going home and getting drunk because Sarah's telling off Phil Henry and completing. I guess Phil was the only guy left in the building that she hadn't told to F off. So, now the cycle's complete, Sarah. Nice going, honey. With a big potty mouth. See, like I've said before, if you really do a great job, if you're like somebody special, if you really are important, if you really mean something, if you really got your crap together, then maybe if you feel compelled to tell people off, if that's your style, then I guess you're in a position to do it. But when everything you touch turns to dreck, when everything you get involved with is like a goddamn living nightmare, and then you're running around telling everybody else that they're incompetent and full of crap and ungrateful sons of bitches, then I think there might be a little bit of a problem there. You know what I'm saying?
That fucking bitch.
Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Wait a
Lady in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello, Neil. How
yes,
you doing?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Happy Halloween.
And back to you.
I just want to say I love your show and listen all the time, and Canadian food sucks. And I saw the banner at the game on Sunday.
Yeah.
And it was so funny. And, of course, I got it, because I'm with it. And I go to the bathroom right after, and I look up, and they had the attendant's name on duty, and it was Louise Miguel.
How do you like that?
And I thought, well, damn.
How the mighty have fallen, huh?
I know.
He's in the ladies' room?
Yep.
Oh, well, that must tell you something.
I know. So I just want to let you in on that one, and keep watching Austin on Days of Our Lives. He's hot.
No. He's not that good.
You don't like him anymore?
No, that first day, I guess it was out there in the dark. He had his clothes off, and it was kind of shadowy. He's not that good. From the neck down, he's pretty good. The neck up, he could use a little work.
Yeah.
He couldn't touch Nick's ass. I'll tell you that right now. I think he might want to, but I don't think he could touch it. You don't watch The Young and the Horny?
Well, I don't get it at work. Since they switched all those channels around and everything, I can only get a few, like Channel 7, of course. But,
yeah.
and Channel 10, and I don't watch all my children.
Well, Channel 7's like a 24-hour soap opera that never stops. And by the way, have you seen Rick Sanchez lately? His face is like a chipmunk. It looks like he's storing nuts for the winter.
I know. I think he's been storing
Looks like
up.
he's got a mouthful of nuts.
I think he's been storing up.
Yeah. Have a great day.
All right. See you at the Macy's Mall.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. That's this Sunday from 1 to 3. It'll be real interesting to see if we get anybody to show up there after the way this audience has been the last several, like what's it been, about the last 5 years they've been like this? 524-9463. We're making the big turn now into that noon to 1 hour, baby, the final 2 hours of the day. And, boy, this is when they all abandon us, man. They go to lunch. They go out for that great Canadian cuisine. They go for a little bit of smoked meat. They, push back with a few Molsons there. And that's all they know. That's all they know from is me and my blue. 524-9463. And the green, are those green lines, they disconnect them or what? What is that? Do you hear that hollow? Huh?
That's the rollover, so it always sounds like that.
It's the rollover, but I like that. Look at that. They're rolling over in Palm Beach. 1-800-944-9463. Don't forget, the Center One thing starts tomorrow. The CDs are great. The cassettes are great. And Phil, of course, this afternoon is going to tell you about those goddamn T-shirts.
The only radio station with an armored car. And boy, do we need it. 610 WIOD, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. News, talk, and entertainment radio. 610 WIOD.
Teacher attacked on school grounds. Good afternoon at 12 o'clock.